I am a Mocha Mom, and I am back to answer a question from a viewer about how I manage tantrums. I manage them by avoiding them. Tantruming is a season that a lot of people dread, just like they dread the teen years. I'm sure everyone's heard about the terrible twos. And part of it is because of the embarrassment that comes from having a 2-year-old or a young child completely have a meltdown when you're in a public place like grocery shopping or at the store or at a party or when friends are visiting or when the grandparents are visiting. It's embarrassing, and a lot of parents feel like it reflects upon their parenting ability when their children have tantrums. But one thing I've learned from going through that season 5 times is that it's a very important phase in disciplining. And it's a lot easier for me when I kind of understand what's going on with my child. And I've learned that there are things that I could do to at least to make tantrums happen less and less. And when a tantrum is going on, there are things that I could do to handle the situation better. So first of all, I've come to realize that a 2-year-old or young child, when they're in the tantruming phase, are in a season where they're starting to differentiate their desires and their wants from their parents, but their communication skills are very limited. Sometimes they don't know how to tell us what they need, or they tell us what they need, but we don't understand. They're not able to convey to us what they need, or they might have a strong feeling about something, but not have the words, their own selves, not understand their own selves, what they're trying to say, much less be able to convey it to us. Another thing I've noticed is that as our babies grow, we tend to sometimes expect more of them than what they developmentally can handle. 2-year-olds tire very easily. They have a short attention span. But yet, at times, we challenge them by having them out much longer than what they're able to handle, taking them to events where we expect them to sit still and sit quietly when they really can't. They still need naps a lot, but because their communication is so much stronger and they don't want to miss anything that's going on, this is a time when they might not want to sit still for a nap. They might, resist you on that. And a lot of times we tend to give in when they're resisting us. We're like, oh, they don't need a nap anymore, but really they do. They're very tired. So some things that I've done is I've really tried to honor the nap time, and I've really tried to set strong discipline boundaries when it comes to nap. You're taking a nap. You have to take a nap. This is the time you take a nap, and no matter how much they resist me, I insist that they take a nap. I insist that they lie down. I have a certain period of time that I expect them to lie down, and I have consequences if they get up before that time. And another thing too is just really helping them to express their frustration and anger about things. Sometimes we may not know why they're upset about something. Maybe we weren't watching what was going on, and then they're not able to communicate it to us. Sometimes I notice that with my toddler, it helps them to be able to tell them, wow, you're really mad about that. You're really upset. Oh, you're really trying to tell me something right now, and I can't figure it out. I'm sorry, I can't figure it out. I'm sorry you're upset. I understand that you're upset. Believe it or not, that type of an attitude works wonders with my kids when, I just can't figure out what's going on. But most of all, as a parent, I've had to adopt the attitude that tantruming is not the way that is going to result in a response from me that you want. I teach my kids from an early age that if you have a tantrum, now I can't give you what you want now. I'm not giving you what you want because you had a tantrum. And I remember my Mocha baby had a tantrum, and she was going through a really frustrating time. I was really busy and not able to plug into her as much as I should. And she was having a tantrum at home. And it was around nap time, not wanting to stay in her bed. And I started singing this song to myself. I started singing, "Mommy, don't play that. Mommy, don't play that. If you have a tantrum, you get nothing." And I was really singing it to myself to kind of like calm myself down, to remind myself of the fact that I'm not giving into a tantrum. And she started singing it. She started singing the song. She would have a tantrum and sing that song to herself and calm herself down, and because she knows she's not getting anything when she has a tantrum. I think this season is an important parenting time where you lay the foundations of when you say something, it is what it is, whether they decide to have a emotional reaction to it or not. You're going to do what you're going to do, what you know to do, and there are consequences if they don't do it. So I think a lot of power struggles begin during the tantruming season when we just want to give in. I tell my kids all the time, every time we go into the store, just because you see something you want doesn't mean you're going to have it. This is why we're going to the store. This is what we're going to get. And candy, lollipops, these are all treats. Just because you go into the supermarket and there's lollipops at the checkout lane doesn't mean that you're getting a lollipop. And if I say no, I don't expect you to have a tantrum about it. And if you do, there's a consequence. And so when I actually do get into a situation where the tantruming is happening, I still treat my kids with respect in the sense that I don't discipline them and try to yell at them and correct them in public. I try to never discipline them in front of other people. If you have a situation where you really need to talk to your child about something, or take care or enforce a consequence about something, it's always better, if possible, to go quietly somewhere, go off to the side, keep your voice down, turn your back to the public, get eye contact with your child, get them to a place all by themselves, in the car, in the bathroom, in another room, outside, leave the place where you are, to honor that discipline is not a humiliating experience. Very important. When you're in a public situation and your child starts throwing a tantrum, I know a big struggle for us is the embarrassment, as I talked about earlier. One thing I've come to realize is that I know for me, whenever I'm somewhere and I see someone's kid out of control like that, I always think, oh man, poor mom. I feel so bad for that mom. Oh, it must be nap time, or oh, she must be tired, or oh, she must be overstimulated, because we overstimulate our kids horribly, and television is a good example for that. If you put on any Sesame Street or any of these shows that are geared toward children, the scenes are changing so quick. The stimulation is so much, it's too much. And if you have your kids sitting in front of that hour after hour after hour, we understand that babies can be overstimulated, but 2-year-olds can be really overstimulated as well. A better activity to do with your 2-year-old is to sit and read a picture book with them. Have them close to you, they're feeling the warmth of you, having that body contact with them. You can adjust your voice. You could read slow. You could read fast. You can have a conversation with them about what the picture is showing versus what the words are saying. I know my 2-year-old will often ask me, they didn't say that the dog was there. There's a dog in the picture. Why aren't they talking about the dog? And then you could have a whole conversation about that. It's much more interactive. I'm not saying no TV at all, but I know that that's something that we tend to want to turn to because it's easier. And sometimes we're tired. We come home from work. We don't have anything left to give. I'm home with my kid, but at times I do work. I do have things that are pulling me, and I know it's easier to do that, but it's better for them when we have that simple one-on-one interaction. It's better for them when we keep their routine very regular. It's better for them when we understand that there's only so much they can sit for. And I've avoided a lot of tantrums with Mocha Baby. It's not that she's a miraculous baby, but I think out of all of them, I get the least tantrums with her, because I just realize that there's just some things I have to say no to. I have to discipline myself. Look at this water hanging off my hair. I just washed my hair. But I have to discipline myself more with her and say, oh, it's her nap time. I got to get home now. Oh, I've gone to too many stores. It's time to go home now. Or leave her at home if I know I have to go from place to place to place to place, because she's just not going to be able to handle it. Around nap time, she's going to have a tantrum. When she's tired, she's going to have a tantrum. When she's hungry, they don't know how to share. We expect them to share. You're teaching them how to share. And you need to teach them how to share in a very concrete way. Get yourself one of those cheap timers from Walmart. Set it to 5 minutes and say, this is your toy until the timer goes off. When it goes ding, now it's Sarah's turn to play with the toy. And then when it goes ding, now it's your turn. And you have to sit there and practice that with them so that they understand that. And then know up front they don't know how to share. So you're not getting upset and saying, oh, this is a selfish child, this is a spoiled child because he or she doesn't know how to share. This is the season where we're teaching them, we're pouring into them. And honestly, anybody that's giving you the evil eye or looking down at you when your child is having a tantrum is a person who has not had a child, who has not done a lot of the disciplining themselves, or maybe too old to remember what it was like. Because as we get older, the tantruming phase seems like it was 5 minutes and we handled it perfectly. We don't remember. But me, since my kids are still relatively young, I remember what that season is like. And you can stay on top of it if you prepare yourself in advance, both your mindset and also what you do and how you handle your child, and realizing that there's so much going around them, inside of them right now, and they need your help to understand what's the best way to deal with it. And some adults don't know how to deal with their rage and frustration. And you're trying to teach that to a 2-year-old. So anyway, I hope that answered your question, and I hope that helps somebody. Be blessed.